Hello and welcome to the Pediatric Network. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be talking with Dr. Johan Engelbrecht, who is a chiropractor currently working in the Netherlands. Now, Johan came up with a brilliant idea of putting together a book for children, by children, regarding going to the chiropractor. Now, I think this is a fantastic initiative. We're going to be talking to Doc about where the idea came from, kind of what the book entails, what you can expect from it, the idea of why this is something that's important for people that work in a pediatric space. And then we're also going to be talking a little bit about where you can get hold of that book if you're inclined to do so. So, here is Dr. Johan Engelbrecht.
Hello and welcome to the Pediatric Network. My name is Mike Marinas. I'm your chiropractor and host here for Everything Pediatric. So it's normally about textbooks, but today it's about a little bit of a different book. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Johan Engelbrecht to the network. How's it going, Doc?
Hey, good, thanks, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Always wonderful to catch up with my old mates. We seem to be all over the world at the moment, eh?
Yeah, everyone's spreading around indeed. Yeah.
So Doc is in the Netherlands, and the reason that I have Johan on with me today is I say you've written a book, but you seem to have been around a book having been written. Tell us about this book, To the Chiropractor.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate you taking the time to chat about the project. Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, even though I'm promoting it amongst our colleagues, I can't really take credit for the book. It was actually a gift from my wife and our kids for my practice's second year anniversary, and it's really a book for kids, written essentially by kids, about a visit to the chiropractor. And the whole idea was initially sparked by us reading a book to our boy, Liam, about a visit to the dentist. It was really, just scene by scene, the boy going to the dentist, seeing what the dentist wears, the tools of the dentist, why going to the dentist is important. And then chatting to my wife some time ago, we were like, why doesn't this exist for the chiropractor? So we left it at that idea. And then, as I mentioned, back in July this year, I was surprised by this lovely gift. And this is essentially the first original draft that they had created. And it was written, using very simple words that kids would use. So it's not like this analytical thing about, this is C1 and that's the sacrum, blah, blah, blah. It's really a walkthrough from the eyes of a little boy with his little toy dog, going to the chiropractor, what he sees, what he feels, what he hears. And that's essentially the book in a nutshell.
It's an amazing project because I think, and so interesting that you talk about, you read the one for the dentist, and that's something that's almost normalized with us, that we go, look, going to the dentist for a child, a very, very different kettle of fish for that child, because now they have to sit down in a chair. There's all sorts of equipment. It's almost like it's really important to prep a child for that. But and I've been working in pediatrics for a long time as well. I really, really believe that the more you can prep the child moving into a chiropractic appointment, or a physio appointment, whatever appointment it is, where you are going to have a child in a situation where they are, number one, separated from the parent a little bit, and they're kind of on their own. They need to have this framework. And as you say, the framework of going, well, it's this scientific thing and that's it, that means nothing. They need to explain in their language.
Yeah, indeed. And that's where we also, just as parents, realized how some of the words that we use, that we take for granted for kids, it's like, especially in Dutch, you have different words for essentially the same thing, but the word that we use for kids, they might have a different link to that, or it just, there's a disassociation between the one and the other, which we just take for granted. So that was quite a nice discovery, and then we started using more of those words in the text of the book. But that was also another main reason for creating this book is essentially what you said, to normalize a visit to the chiropractor, because going to the dentist, you just do that. That's like a standard thing that any responsible parent do with their kid. So that's also like I wouldn't want to call it a hidden agenda, but that's also the thing behind the book, is like just to normalize taking your kids to the chiropractor, and indeed to prep a kid to what to expect when visiting a chiropractor.
Sure. Now, having had children yourself, has that made you a little bit more sensitive to being on the other side of having to now take your children to places compared to, before having kids and seeing kids? It must be almost like, because I'm thinking it happens with me, that I have like a dynamic shift in my mind, because now I'm not just thinking as a doc when the child comes in, I'm also thinking as a parent, because I'm in that headspace.
Oh, certainly. I think any parents would be able to relate to that before having your own kids and after that. It's just indeed a different mindset where you first of all, you've been there, you have a certain experience, and it just makes it more relatable. And it's just immediately it's a different interaction that you have with the kids in the practice, and you have more what's the word, more comprehension for what the parent has to go through with their kid in your practice.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'll tell you, the moment that I saw this, first of all, I was like, I should have thought of that. Which is why I have such wonderful friends around the world, because, of course, they're a lot cleverer than me and they come up with these things way before I would, which is wonderful. But the second thing I was thinking is that, there are so many instances where I've had a situation where a parent will come in and you can see it's all based on bribery. The reason that they're sitting anywhere near me is all based on bribery. They've not been told what's going to happen, why it's going to. All they've been told is that there's a sweet at the end, or there's a toy at the end.
Yeah.
So and in Afrikaans, obviously, we have the lovely word vasbyt, which means they are literally just holding down, and you can see nail marks on the leather of your couch after.
Sure.
They're just holding down and waiting for this all to be finished. And I just think of so many times that if a tool like this could have been put into play a day or so before, that they could more be excited that they're going to go through what this child and his toy dog and the whole story went through, because now they're going through something they read about in a book. And I know for my kids, that's always something. If they see something on YouTube, they want to try it. If they read something in a book, they want to, they associate with something that they've seen in some media or whatever. They're really keen to they almost fulfill something for them.
Yeah, it becomes more relatable to them. Yeah.
There we go. So I think something like this, not only a fun idea, but a really, really necessary thing that we just haven't had. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. No, I agree, and hopefully colleagues would see it that way as well, as a tool to just to ease the transition of a potential new kid coming into the practice, and just having a fun book to read with your kids. I was going to say something else now, but it's indeed has been a missing tool within especially the pediatric community.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's been out there in front of our faces, because, as you say, colleagues of ours like dentists have had this kind of thing in place for years.
Yeah. And also, what I actually just wanted to say now, with writing the book and going from scene to scene, it's just a fun visit. I mean, there's a scene where the boy, after being checked and adjusted, he jumps off and he gives the chiropractor a high five. And you mentioned the toy dog, and I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've had this experience as well, taking care of kids. a little kid, if it's boy or a girl, apart from their, their parents or their siblings, if they have an older brother or younger sister, um, apart from them, most kids, they have like the special toy. If it's a dog or like a little dinosaur or an elephant or like a Barbie, that for them is their world. That's the most precious thing. And I find it such, apart from the privilege of taking care of the kid, if a kid comes in and they hand over their toy, it's like, please, would you check my toy dog, for example? That there's a certain exchange of trust there for that little kid to hand over their toy to have it checked. So there's also a scene in the book where, the little toy dog is called Buddy. Also gets checked and adjusted. We wanted to convey also again that the whole concept of trust, and it's just an enjoyable visit, and also something that I want to make clear in my own practice with the kids that I see is like, you're here not because there's something wrong with you. You're here because we want to make things better. And it might sound superfluous and insignificant, but that for me personally, there's a big difference between going to a medical doctor because there's something wrong with you, and then immediately it's like, I don't want to go, I'm gonna get a shot or bad tasting medicine or whatever the case is. But that is not what a visit to a chiropractor is about. Well, at least not in the way I practice chiropractic. And having said that, I don't want to make it like a philosophical thing. It's just it's not supposed to be like a negative experience. And hopefully having the book laid out the way it is, it also makes it for the kids less of a daunting experience, and actually thinking, well, cool, I'm going to go there. It's going to help me play better, jump better, ride my bicycle better, more with a positive spin on it.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolute sense. And I think the core of that is that instead of focusing on what's wrong, we're focusing on we make you better.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's framed in such a positive way. Because, you go to cricket practice, not because you are wrong at cricket. You go to cricket practice to get better at cricket. So it's just focusing on, we're going to get you better. Don't even worry about the other side. All the adults can worry about all that story. You as the child, we worry about you just get better.
100%. Yeah.
My kids. So listen, I want to talk just a little bit about where did you get into pediatric practice? Because you are very active on all of our wonderful Facebook groups for pediatrics and that kind of thing. You're always in there asking questions and answering and getting involved. So you really have a lot of investment in pediatric practice. Where did it come from?
Yeah, it relates to the birth of my own son, and actually having the little limb on my hands, and then it's like, I need to take care of this. And that was also one of the reasons why eventually I made the move abroad to Europe, is to have more hands-on pediatric training. And I've been fortunate to learn from as such as yourself, from amazing people with years and years and years of experience on how to take care of kids. I think, as many other chiropractors, pediatric chiropractors, then that initial drive was having your own kid, and wanting to take care of them as best as possible. But the other thing is also having my own practice and having certain long-term goals for what the purpose of the practice is in my community. To make any significant long-term changes, you need to look at the kids and how kids are not necessarily brought up, but the exposure that they have to this concept of health, which then becomes a lifelong journey. So to make really long-term changes within the community, you need to start with a younger age. So that was also one of the driving factors behind going into pediatrics, in pregnancy. So I would say my practice is not predominantly pediatrics or children. That's all the work in progress, because that's also kind of like a foreign concept still over here. Like you'd rather take your child to an osteopath than a chiropractor. So that's still a big challenge for me as a chiropractor, and for my practice here in Maastricht, is to make that a bit more known. And again, hopefully, this book would help not only myself but other colleagues as well to make that a bit of a more normal thing in society, to take your kids to a chiropractor.
Yeah, definitely. Well, talk me through a little bit about where docs can get hold of this book.
So the easiest way would be through my practice website. I think it might be easiest if you at the end can just show the link, but essentially it's Umoya, or www.umoya, umoya-chiropractic.nl/books, and you'll see that. Otherwise, just orders at umoya-chiropractic.nl. Just shoot me an email with questions on the book. It's available in both Dutch and English. That's the easiest way.
Wonderful, man. Yeah, definitely. We'll put some links down below there so that we can sort that out. Cool. And then, if you are interested, which I really think is a good idea, to get hold of something like this. I think it's a tool that is one of those things we didn't think about before, but I think now that we have it, it's going to be, it's just something to have in your practice, to almost even go like, hey, your kid's coming in next week, take this home, let them have a read of it, what have you, build a little bit of, give them a good idea of what's going to happen. And when they come in, you have a confident, bouncy child that can't wait to get going.
Yeah, certainly. If I may, I just want to take the time also to acknowledge the illustrator, a girl called Josephine Yeh. She has been phenomenal to work with. It's just also like a random chance that I posted on a Facebook group asking for an illustrator that would be interested in working on a project, and we met up, just her skill in being able to draw these images is phenomenal. And I had certain criteria because as you know, chiropractic is this natural profession. I also wanted the book to express this whole, more organic, natural vibe. So the drawings that she made, as well as the colors and just the expression of the different characters has been phenomenal. And also the book itself is printed on 100% recycled paper from front to back. So that's also a thing that I want people to see and feel that it's a quality product, with also another like hidden message about sustainability, just a natural thing which relates to chiropractic as well. But it's been a pleasure working with Josephine, and again the images that she's created is it's just exciting to see the whole thing.
Oh no, it's wonderful. I'm actually just looking at the English cover, and it looks the imagery just looks so inviting. It's really nice.
Yeah, certainly.
No, wonderful job to both of you and your illustrator. Fantastic idea, great concept, and thank you for adding positivity into our space. Yeah, and I think that's one of the most noble things someone can do. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your time here.
I appreciate it, and again, thank you for taking the time to talk about the project, and I also appreciate your enthusiasm about it.
I basically am a child, so I'm very, very on this book. I just want to read it for myself because I want to find out what's going to happen.
Cool. Lovely.
But good, thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon, and those links will be below where you can purchase the book. As Doc said, it's going to be in Dutch and in English, and a fantastic idea for our profession. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.